Telecom service provider Du is one of the region's fastest growing and most innovative telecommunications companies. The company announced its full year results for 2013, reporting revenues of 10.8 billion dirhams. We sat down with Osman Sultan, Du's CEO, to find out what is the company's secret to its success. Firstly, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
My pleasure.
Since the company commenced operations in 2006, it's witnessed phenomenal growth, both in its subscriber base and services offered. Can you tell us what has been behind this growth to date?
Basically, we wanted to come with a very genuine approach initially. I mean, when we launched Du, it started with characteristics of this market that were completely unique in the world. Du is the only second entrant to launch in a market where penetration was close to 100%. Penetration of the usage of mobile services was close to 100%. It never happened any place in the world. So that in itself was a challenge. Du was the only telco startup to launch with its own resources, not counting on the backup of an existing incumbent operator. The third unique characteristic is that it's probably if not the only, but one of the very few telco startups that was licensed to offer full spectrum of telecom services since day one. We started services by offering not only mobile services, but as well, home services, fixed and internet and TV. So that in itself made us absolutely in a special environment. And there was no magic recipe. It is differentiating yourself at every component of the value chain, making sure that you are in a very highly penetrated market. You have to come with a very distinct offer, very distinct brand. Our branding was a very important part of our success. The approach we had with customers, the promise to customers, all this has led to the success. And from that point of view, the story is still unfolding, and we're very proud of the story.
Now, Du sources its staff from a variety of different backgrounds. However, more than 50% of its senior management team and customer-facing staff are UAE nationals. What's Du's approach to its amortization policy, and what advice would you give other companies looking to mirror Du's success in this area?
We shouldn't forget a major responsibility that we have, which is the amortization. So it was on the agenda since day one. Today, we are at 34% globally of our workforce being UAE nationals. We are 40% in the management roles, and when it comes to senior management, the percentage is higher. So that is something we're very proud of. But it is not, these numbers are not enough to understand, because it's not that we believe it's a quantitative game. Amortization is a qualitative purpose before everything else. And from day one, we created programs that are engaging completely our brilliant and very talented young UAE young men and young women into a program. We said to them, we are not offering you a job, we are offering you a path, we're offering you a career, we're offering you a development a journey. And that is a complete change. It might seem only a slogan, but believe me, when you implement this in the day-to-day factory, it's a complete journey. So this is one thing. For instance, I'll give you an example. We have noticed that when you outsource part of your contact center, a lot of Emiratis calling would feel good to have, UAE nationals understanding better their needs, understanding better their concern, understanding better sometimes the geographical things that they are, rather than having outsourced people in different countries answering them. So we created a contact center in Fujairah, designed, I would say, managed and manned completely by young UAE nationals dedicated to answer all UAE national queries to our contact center. That was a very important qualitative move. So again, it is not, if I may give an advice, as you suggested, in your question, and far from me the idea that to say that we know, we're learning constantly. So, but is always to focus that it has to be a qualitative concern and a qualitative development, in addition to ensuring that you are onboarding more and more of these young and talented UAE nationals.
Now, customers here in the UAE have a choice between two telecom service providers in the country, that's Du and Etisalat. Recently, the TRA announced that mobile users would be able to retain their existing numbers when switching between providers in a bid to enhance customer choice and competitiveness in this sector. Compared to other telecommunications sectors in other countries, how do you feel customers are served by the current environment here in the UAE?
Okay, first of all, maybe a comment on what you indicated on the mobile number portability announced by the TRA and by the two operators. It is an important thing. Why? It's not a game changer in the sense that you will not see, hundreds of thousands of customers moving one way and hundreds of thousands of customers moving the. But we know that the number is an important thing, and actually we campaigned with that. We campaigned on how a mobile number can be important. So if a customer is feeling the need for any reason, is starting to feel unhappy, or he's attracted by, seduced by offers that are done by other operators, the number should not be an obstacle. So the mobile number portability is a convenience, and everything based on offering more convenience to customers, you will see us completely supporting this, completely, calling for this to happen. Now, to the more fundamental part of your question, how, in comparison to other markets, when it comes to the mobile services, I think the UAE is one of the most advanced markets, and I believe that competitivity is really strong and there. We can see the offers that were, just going back and forth. We can see how dynamic the two companies were trying to, preempt the offers of the other company. The infrastructure is excellent. The UAE is one of the rare countries where the two operators are rolling aggressively 4G technology. The data, offers for data, the speeds that for internet, the capacity when it comes to internet being home services or mobile. So from that point of view, I think the UAE is quite served.
Speaking of data, the company announced its full-year results for 2013, reporting revenues of 10.8 billion dirhams, a 9.7% increase against the previous year. One of the largest areas of growth for the business was mobile data revenues, which increased 33.8%, with data now representing 27.7% of mobile service revenues. How has Du been positioning itself to cater to this growing segment of the market?
Well, I don't think that you need a lot of strategic thinking. Of course, we do a lot of strategic thinking, but you don't need a lot to just looking around you to understand that data is the name of the game. Behavior is changing. Our kids are on their tablets. Our kids are, now playing all over. The two things are pushing into this. One, at one end, the explosion of content that you can access now. If I give you numbers, you would be amazed. Close to 50 hours of video are uploaded on YouTube every minute in the world. every minute. We are told that if we want, at the end of 2015, to watch all the videos crossing the networks in 1 second, we will need 5 years to do so. So imagine the explosion that this is happening. So it's data, it's video, social networks are, we have seen the importance that it's taking. So between the explosion of content and between the multiplication and proliferation of devices that are having more and more capabilities at a lower and lower price and available at a lower and lower price, we can see that this ecosystem is really meant to grow tremendously. We have to be there, and we have to be there by putting all the components of the value chain together. As I said, there is no magic recipe for doing it. It's a disciplined, tedious work on every component of the value chain.
This year, the ruler of Dubai launched Dubai's strategy to transform itself into a smart city. So what exactly is DU's role in supporting this plan, which aims to empower government departments and the private sector to contribute to this forward-reaching vision? We continue our conversation with DU's CEO, Osman Sultan. Now, we do hear the term smart city used quite a lot, and different people have different notions of what this means to the lives of everyday people. Now, there are some people still waiting for the driverless hovercraft to come and pick them up in the morning. But from your point of view, what will people's lives be like in the smart cities of the future?
Wow, that's a challenging and very nice question. And I like the image of people still waiting, coming from these science fiction movies that we always see. It can go from, Avatar to, surrogates. I don't know if you watched the Surrogate movie with Bruce Willis, where actually people were not living themselves the life, but they were living this through an avatar going, and they were watching this through, all this digital thing. But something, on a serious tone, when years back we watched Minority Report and we saw Tom Cruise, just moving these screens like that with his hand, all of us, we said, oh, but this is fiction. That's right. Years after, we're not talking a decade, years after, our kids are just moving these screens with their hands, and these things are happening. So we have to keep really our eyes and minds completely open all the time, because a lot is happening, and that's the exciting thing. Coming to the smart buzz of smart. A smart city is, this place, these communities, but it starts from having your home smart living, technology allowing you to do things with more convenience, in a more secure way, in a more effective way. From the time you move, you take your car, your vehicle, public transportation to go somewhere. This is the smart transportation. Technology that is allowing you to do this with more convenience, to getting to your office, the smart office, to then moving within the city, interacting with the government, the smart government. So these are, and this is a holistic ecosystem. This is not a matter of telecom operators. This is not a matter of, device manufacturers. This is not, it is really a holistic ecosystem where collaborative effort has to happen between multiple stakeholders. Little by little, we will build what is called the smart environment. It will be a smart city. It will be a smart way of dealing with government and the smart government initiative. So the the privileged thing that we have in the UAE is now from the top, you have two major initiatives that has been announced by His Highness the Prime Minister. One on smart government, almost a year ago, and the other one a few months back on smart city, with a clear ambition, the transformation of the government of the UAE to smart government in 2 years' time. That leaves us, a little bit more than a year, so we have to run to make things happen. And the second one is having Dubai being the smartest city in the world within a 3 years' time frame. And this ecosystem, as I said, will require a collaborative effort of a lot of players. It cannot be only, this or that player. Multi-stakeholder equation, multi-dimension equation.
Now, as you've just mentioned, the ruler of Dubai launched Dubai's strategy to transform itself into a smart city, building on the Emirates' Smart Government Initiative. What's Du's role in supporting this plan?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, first of all, we have a role to play on the infrastructure, because this is where telco operators. And we took an initiative a few weeks back when we announced the Wi-Fi UAE initiative. Wi-Fi UAE is an initiative. We announced that we are investing and we are putting Wi-Fi in public places all across the UAE, starting by the capital and then moving, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and then Dubai, and then moving to other cities. But within a time frame of 18 months, we will cover all the UAE. So that is a first step, because you will have then in parks, you will have on beaches, you will have in, you will have a Wi-Fi layer that will enable a lot to happen. In addition to this, I think what we can do, because connectivity is our business, is as well to be with communities being, all these real estate developers that are developing communities, in saying that once you have this connectivity, there is so much you can do on top of this connectivity. So there is a smart master planning of all these communities in order to make them, be it on the level of the smart living, be it on the level of the smart offices, be it at the smart community services that are offered. So this is a role as well that we can play, again, not alone. This can be, we can help or we can partner with community developers in order to do so.
I guess finally, Dubai is one of the world's greatest success stories, with the speed and innovation in its development serving as a benchmark for other cities around the world to emulate. With the announcement of Expo 2020, in addition to the smart city initiatives that we've just discussed, how do you see this trajectory of growth continuing both up to and beyond 2020?
As I said, this doesn't happen just by, it's not a matter of constructing infrastructure. That Dubai is far advanced in comparison to a lot of, not only neighboring countries, but even when you compare at global benchmarks. It's as well creating the right layer of talent that exists and enabling this talent to create. One thing that goes in that direction, if you look at most of the successful startups in the digital space, you will see that they are all launched out of Dubai, out of the UAE. They're based here. They go, be it startups not only on the digital space, from digital space to other places, because this is the place that is enabling creativity, enabling to launch this, enabling to service this. The momentum that is existing now in the UAE, the economic momentum, is the best fuel for all this innovation to happen. And the number of initiatives that we are seeing, weeks back I was in the Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. Major transformation. We partner with privilege because we have been partnering with them on that front. We have a media lab in Zayed University in Abu Dhabi and Dubai that we are, and this is as well, this is our contribution. So I believe that this trajectory will continue, not because you have infrastructure, not because you have roads or building or telecom infrastructure, is that you have this buzzing, bubbling environment made by very young, talented young men and young women that will create, coming from all over the region, but coming sometime from all over the world to just, do this. This is how, landmarks in the course of civilizations are built, and this is what the UAE is achieving.
Mr. Sultan, it's truly been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, that brings us to the end of our program. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can contact us at UAE Weekly at city7tv.com or by calling us on 04367 2230. From myself and the entire team, have a great week ahead.